So if I could, I'm going to just talk about another patient, because I'm actually fascinated by the stories themselves, because that's where the proof in the pudding is going to end up. Dr. Patricia Kane, and she's a physician herself, received a deadly diagnosis 15 years ago. It's called idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. You increasingly cannot breathe. It is the primary problem that it presents with, and we don't have a solution that we know of. Dr. Kane, I have your records, and I went through them. And again, I went through them a couple times because it shocked me, as I'm sure you probably expect as a physician yourself. So you were diagnosed in 1995.
Yes.
Started on immunosuppressants.
Yes.
The condition worsened, which is the natural history. Most patients will die within 5 years of getting this diagnosis. And yet, after you're diagnosed, you decided to see Dr. Nemeh. Why was that?
My nieces led me to Dr. Nemeh because of the fact that they had had an injury and Dr. Nemeh healed one of them. And they said, well, why don't you go?
So, as a physician, I'd like to find out what your insights are on this. Do you think Dr. Nemeh was able to heal you through faith?
I think faith was a very important component of my healing, yes. Western medicine did all they could, but they can't reverse scar tissue. And my scar tissue was reversed.
You know what your doctor's going to say. He's going to say, because I've been down this road for other crazy diagnoses too, we must have had the wrong diagnosis. It got better because we miscategorized it. And which may be right, by the way. I mean, how do you answer that rebuttal?
They did a biopsy of my lung, and the biopsy showed fibrosis. And when you're looking at it under a microscope, you can't call it something that it isn't.
Yeah. And she winks. And she winks. I want to bring in a doctor who spent his career looking at matters of faith and medicine. Dr. Jeff Rediger is a professor at Harvard Medical School. He's a psychiatrist at McLean Hospital, and he has a master's in divinity. Jeff, please join us. Thank you very much. So, maybe I can just start off with the basic question in my own mind. But what's the harm of believing that God can help you get better?
There's no harm as long as two things are remembered. First is, don't judge yourself or others if the illness doesn't go away. The second thing is, try to avoid either or thinking. Both medicine and faith are great gifts.
How do you explain these recoveries that, I must say, at least the investigation we've done, do appear to be miraculous?
Well, the way I've come to think of it at this point is that we're not just physical beings. We're also spiritual beings. Physical beings need oxygen, and spiritual beings need love. One research question, I believe, is whether there's a connection between love and healing. That's something that modern science is just beginning to tiptoe into.
Talk to me a little bit about the placebo effect, because that comes up all the time. The idea that just by thinking that you're going to get better, you will get better. I mean, do you have a different take on that?
I believe that we use the word placebo to dismiss things we don't understand. So, placebo, if a person gets better because of a sugar pill, what does that mean? It could be a spontaneous remission. It could be a misdiagnosis. It could be faith. It could be a certain mental state. We don't know what it is.
Mind over matter.
Mind over matter. Well, let me just say that this has been a question that has plagued me for most of my career, and a lot of physicians have become interested in this area. So science has tried to study prayer and healing, and one of the most comprehensive trials ever done was shocking to a lot of people. Cardiac surgical patients received prayers from afar, and it turned out that these prayers had no measurable impact on the recovery of the patients. So Dr. Nemeh, I see patients, I'm going to ask this question very directly if you don't mind, because I respect you and I want to hear your answer on this. I ask patients all the time in the hospital who are suffering how they're getting better. And a lot of them say they're praying, or having people in their congregations or their synagogues or their mosques pray for them. And yet, they don't always get better. So what do you think it is that allows you to help people get better, where when they pray on their own, they're not able to get there?
I don't see any difference in there. So everybody has the same access that I have. Okay, I can't see any differences in there. The only thing that is of importance, again, is their state of mind, right where they are, you know. And that highest state of mind is the love that we have for everyone around us, you know, and the care. Not only this, you know, go back to the healing itself. A lot of people come in, they have pictures of people with them, and those people did not know that we were praying for them. And we had a lot of them had cancers and other complicated things that recovered from, without them even knowing that we were praying for them.
I know you all have a ton of questions, so when we come back, I'm going to have you ask your questions directly to Dr. Nemeh. Plus, we're going to watch him do a healing right here in the studio. Stay with us. Thank you, Doctor.